everybody, welcome back to Hillbilly Adventures. This is part two of the 1/6 scale Willys Jeep Build. Now, if you're following along with this and you have a G.I. Joe Jeep, your build may vary. I thought that's what I bought when I got this on eBay. Turns out it's a Formation International, which is a Chinese knockoff, more or less, that happened around the 90s, from what I understand. And Still, they look really good, but the build is going to be a little bit different than the G.I. Joe Jeep. I have looked all over the internet. I've seen many videos, pictures, what have you, of the G.I. Joe Jeep builds. Almost no information at all what you got to do with the Formation International. Although the build can be slightly similar, you've got some other things you got to do if you're going to go this route. Well, let's get into it. One of the first things with the Willys Jeep builds, the GI Joe Jeeps guys, you'll see they'll take a Dremel tool and right along the hood line, they'll cut this out. They'll hinge it so the hood opens and closes like a real vehicle. Unfortunately, with the Formation International, you can't really do that because the mounting screws for this whole assembly are actually in the hood itself. So you would have to glue this piece in your windshield down. And I mean, you could do that if you wanted the hood to open. I didn't do that simply because I could just see this thing rolling over and that glue popping off and breaking it clean off. So what I decided to do was go a little bit different direction, and I'll show you what we did here. So what I got to do is I got to close my windshield down here. And this is going to be Klinger from MASH. He's decapitated at the moment. Don't worry about that. He does have a head. It's in the mail. I'm still waiting for it to get here. As well as he has a dress to wear and a beret to wear. Like in the, if you ever watched the MASH TV series, he would wear a red beret sometimes with a dress and smoke a cigar. Well, that's the idea. This thing has nothing to do with LBGT, what have you. This is just about a TV show and humor. And, it was one of my favorite, my brother's favorite, and my dad's favorite shows growing up watching. And we all liked Klinger. We thought he was hilarious. The actor's name is Jamie Farr, and he's still a funny dude. I mean, I really like him. Good person. Anyway, getting out of that quagmire. We're going to take our driver and pull him out. He's just sitting in there. And the way I've done this is you take the whole hood assembly and just lift straight up. And what I've done, if you can see on the bottom, is I've attached body mounts. And I drilled these and ran a grub screw up into them and screwed them into the original screw attachment points on the hood. And you can see why I did what I did. You can see how that attaches right there. On the other end, the screws would come up from the bottom of the fender up into the hood. The problem with that is once you get axle and tire and everything in there, you ain't going to have no room to get a screwdriver in there. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. So instead, what I've opted to do is why I put those body posts on there is you can actually take a body pin and pop it into the side between the wheels and the fenders, and problem solved. It won't come off, and it's sturdy and strong. I did have to actually glue in a couple of these little round body tabs. You can see right in there. I glued those in to hold the windshield in so that when you take it off, the windshield doesn't get lost or fall out because it's kind of fiddly. And that does great because now it just stays there and it'll be there. And it actually helps guide the hood when you put it down, which is a bonus. These tires are just for show. I'm probably going to go with them when I trail ride with it, but I want to get a set of tires that look more like this for when I'm showing it off. And there are some on eBay. I just haven't ordered them yet. I've got too many other things going on. Let me get these out from under here and show you what else I was doing with it. So my transmission did come in. Most of the builds I've seen, they mount the transmission directly in here and just drill holes, run screws up to the bottom end of the transmission. And I'm sure that'll work fine. Myself personally, I didn't like doing that. I wanted something a little more reinforced because I bet you anything the GI Joe Jeeps, the plastic's probably thicker, and the plastic on this is okay, but it's not super duper thick, and I could just see this thing, cracking over time, and then you'd be in a real mess. So I found me a little piece of scrap metal and actually glued it down and then drilled through the metal and the plastic in order to mount the transmission. That motor is not staying in there. That's just for mock up. And you can see my little piece of scrap metal that I've glued in there, and see the screws in the bottom. Also, what you're going to have to do, and you're going to do this with GI Joe as well. You can see right there where I took a Dremel tool and cut a hole out for the transmission drive shaft to come through. You'll have to do that, and our transfer case is going to live up in here. So that's what I'm thinking with that. I took one of the tires and actually glued it to the back here. I used a piece of the axle, drilled a hole through, and glued it in good and tight so it ain't going anywhere, because that spare tire was missing. And I 3D printed this gas tank. I had to scale it up to 1/6 scale, and I think it turned out okay. And with that being said, I was also missing a axe, which is about to fall off here. And you can see right there, I made an axe to go with my shovel. 3D printed all of that. Now, with that being said, I can't go any further with it at the moment. I'm still waiting on more parts to come in. And, until that stuff gets in here, there's not a whole lot more that I can do. Um, and as soon as I get those in, I'll continue figuring things out and keep you guys up to date with where we're at with it. But so far, I think it's coming together pretty nicely. A lot easier than I thought it would be. I still have the question of the chassis situation, and I haven't quite decided what to do with that yet. There's a couple different ways to do it. The GI Joe Jeep guys, they actually take a. I thought I had one over here. I was trying it out. They actually take some metal brackets for a Tamiya. They're on the front of the hold your A arms on a Tamiya Blackfoot or a Grasshopper. Those little metal brackets, and they bolt those up in there for your links to come off of. And I thought about that with this situation, but it would have to mount directly to the bottom of this plastic. Again, you're getting in a situation where the plastic could get weak and break. Yeah, I thought I had those laying here. Sorry, not prepared again. But anyway, most of you know what I'm talking about. Um, I'm still of the opinion that I can get a actual axial chassis to fit in there somehow, but I don't want to mount this yet. I'm not going to go cutting on this thing anymore until I get the transfer case in, and also need to get the axles in so I can kind of eyeball it and see where everything's going to lay. Because if I cut these things where I was talking about, and it's too wide for the transfer case to bolt up, even with making maybe some 3D printed, like a 3D printed, skid plate or something. I'm going to be in hot water, and I don't want to chop this thing up for no reason. I want to cut it once, cut it right, and be done. So I'm still, like I said, I'm still waiting on that. My dog's hairs are getting everywhere. She's freaking out back here because she's a border collie, and that's what they do. Um, so until I get more parts in, there's not a whole lot more that I can do with this build. But it is progressing little by little. Same as me, I'm healing little by little. Going to physical therapy and all that good stuff. The old shoulder's still sore. Physical therapy has been rough, but I'm getting a lot more mobility out of it. As you can see, I'm able to do some things now. And, hopefully here before long, the old Willys Jeep and the old Hillbilly will both be fixed up and rolling. So anyway, till next time, guys. Hey, you guys take it easy out there. If you've got a project, hey, be creative, use your imagination, think outside the box, make it happen. Sitting around, looking at it isn't going to get the thing done. Like my zombie apocalypse RV, that thing sat around here for 6 years, which was ridiculous because it doesn't even have that much time in it. It was just not putting applying my skills to finishing a project. So if you do have a project, just get that tunnel vision, man. Just concentrate on it, work on it. When you get frustrated, walk away. That is fine. But then, you know, think of a solution to how you can make it work. Come back, hit it again, and a lot of times with a new set of eyes, you can figure out things and get them done. All right. So, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Go have some fun with your RCs. Don't take no wooden nickels.